All right, everybody, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Well, today we are going back in time a little bit. Yeah, we're looking at Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Yeah, the remaster.
Right. So it was this platformer from 2010s.
Yeah, I remember it.
And they've kind of spruced it up, given it a fresh coat of paint for a new generation.
Nice.
Yeah, and we've been digging through a ton of reviews and articles, and the big question we want to answer today is this just a nostalgic cash grab? Or can it actually hold up in a world with games like Rayman Legends and Super Mario Odyssey?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is a tough one. So let's jump in.
Okay.
So one thing that really jumps out from the reviews is how much they're praising the visual overhaul. Now, they're not just talking about, higher resolution or anything.
Right.
They're talking about the lighting, the way it interacts with the environments.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just like Diddy Kong swinging through a sunset level. And you could see like the light filtering through the leaves bouncing off his fur.
Oh, that'll be cool.
It's pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
and it really seems like they're using these updated visuals to really create an atmosphere. Like you can almost like feel the humidity of the jungle or the heat radiating off the volcano.
That's cool. Does that kind of visual storytelling actually make a difference for you? Like, does it really add to the game?
For me, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like being transported right into the world.
Right.
But it's not all about looks right.
True.
The review calls the gameplay timeless.
Ooh.
Timeless. Which I feel like is a really tricky word to use.
Yeah.
Especially for a platformer. And I know you are a fan of these classic platformers.
I am, yes.
What do you think? Do you think the level design and the mechanics actually still hold up?
I think it's kind of a mix, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely parts that feel completely timeless.
Like what?
Oh, man. Those minecart and rocket barrel stages. Pure Donkey Kong chaos.
Yeah.
So much fun. And they are just as fun now as they were back then.
Okay.
But at the same time, some reviewers did point out that, compared to more modern platformers, the level design can feel a little bit linear.
Linear? What do you mean, like just running from point A to point B without much exploration?
Exactly. Yeah, there's not as much freedom to, like, experiment or discover hidden areas like you might find in a game like Hollow Knight, for example.
Right, okay.
But honestly, for some players, that's part of the old school charm.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of catering to different players, they have added some new accessibility features.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can slow down the game speed. You can get extra hearts, even more checkpoints.
Wow.
It really seems like they're trying to make the experience less punishing.
Interesting. Yeah, it definitely feels like a move towards inclusivity, like opening up the game to players who might have bounced off the original's difficulty.
For sure.
But it does raise a question, doesn't it?
What's that?
Do these options end up compromising that core challenge that Donkey Kong is known for?
That is a good question.
Yeah. What do you think? Would you ever use any of these features, or would it feel like cheating to you?
I think it depends.
Yeah.
I think for some players, it might be the difference between enjoying the game and just completely giving up in frustration.
Right.
So I think it's really about giving players the agency to choose their own experience.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so let's move on to something that might be a little bit controversial.
Oh.
Motion controls. Yeah, the review kind of seemed to sigh and roll their eyes at the fact that they were included.
Yeah, I can see that.
So tell me about this. Were they a big point of contention in the original?
They were definitely divisive. Some people loved them.
Yep.
Some people absolutely hated them.
Found them too finicky or...
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, even though you can use traditional controls in this remaster, some actions, like the ground pounding, still feel more responsive with motion. Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's not a clean break from the past. You're still going to have to deal with them in some capacity.
So for someone playing this for the very first time, are the motion controls going to be a deal breaker?
I think it really depends on the person.
Yeah.
How tolerant are you of that kind of thing?
Right.
Maybe watch some gameplay footage first.
Oh, that's a good idea.
See how it feels.
Okay, good tip.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, let's talk about co-op.
Co-op!
Is it actually fun to play with a friend, or is it more like a relationship test?
Ooh, boy.
The reviewers did not seem impressed.
Not really, no.
So what's the problem?
Well, the camera system is just not designed for two players.
Oh, no.
So you basically have to stay glued to each other the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, and because of the way the levels are designed, one player's mistake can totally mess up the other person's game.
Ugh, so it's less dynamic duo and more like forced proximity.
Pretty much, yeah. One review even called it unintentionally hilarious.
But I don't know if that's the kind of multiplayer experience most people are looking for.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, so final verdict time.
Yeah.
The review gave Donkey Kong Country Returns HD a 7.5 out of 10.
Solid.
Solid, but not exactly earth-shattering.
Right, and I think that score really reflects that kind of balancing act that this remaster is trying to do. I mean, the visuals are incredible.
Yeah.
They've made a good attempt at accessibility, and the core gameplay still has its moments.
Yeah.
But it might not be like the most compelling choice for someone who's looking for a truly modern platforming experience.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So the question for you listening out there is, does Donkey Kong Country Returns HD appeal to you because of nostalgia? Or are you interested in seeing how this classic formula holds up in a modern gaming landscape?
Good question.
Maybe it's a bit of both.
Could be.
Whatever the answer is, we hope this deep dive gave you enough info to decide whether to hit that buy button.
Yeah.
Or maybe run in the other direction. And hey, if you're curious about those modern platformers we keep mentioning, stay tuned, because we've got a deep dive into Celeste coming up.
Ooh.
That is going to blow your mind.
Can't wait.
Until then, happy gaming.
Happy game.